Hi, it's Christina again with Cemetery of Choice, and today is August 4th, and we're looking primarily at illegal abortion deaths today, although there is one safe and legal um, tragedy that is a little bit different. We'll get to that at the end. So, as always, I look for more information every year when these anniversaries come around. I was not able to find anything new about the 1900 death of a newlywed named Mary. All I could find for her is this the right one or is this the wrong one? This one is from the Homicide in Chicago database, saying that she died at her home from an abortion performed by Mrs. Mary Kemper, who was arrested and held without bail. Um, and it just says that this was a nurse or midwife who performed the abortion. So that's really all I was able to find out about Mary's death. Then we jump ahead to 1913. A 40-year-old seamstress named Anna, who was an Hungarian immigrant, died in Chicago, supposedly at the scene of the abortion performed by Dr. Frank Muller. But again, it's kind of hard to tell with the Homicide in Chicago interactive database. They do get things wrong. So I am going to try again every year to find more information. Now, I had a bit more luck with finding information about this young woman, Lorraine. She was a 19-year-old Southwest Bell telephone employee who died in Wichita, Kansas on August 4th, 1924. Now, she died at a hospital owned by Dr. Charles C. Keister. Her sister swore a complaint against him. They believe that he perpetrated the abortion on August 1st. The autopsy found that she died of peritonitis, and Keister tried to say that he'd only been operating on Lorraine for gallstones. Two young men who weren't identified in the source were alleged to have admitted their connection with the affair and to have made arrangements with the doctor for the operation. Now, Keister was just evidently one of those habitual, just couldn't stop himself. He had been implicated in the abortion death of a 19-year-old named Hattie on March 7th, 1922, a 19-year-old named Hazel in December of 1923, and then the same month that Lorraine died, Keister was implicated in the abortion death of a woman I've identified as Bonnie, because I haven't found details. She was only 18. And the Newton Journal noted, Dr. Keister has an infamous reputation in Wichita and evidently has been pulling iniquity with a cart rope. It is alleged that the officers were ready on numerous occasions to close in on questionable cases, but the relatives involved would back out, avoiding publicity and scandal. So, Keister was originally charged with first-degree murder, but ultimately convicted of manslaughter in Lorraine's death. Now, he was freed on bail pending a new trial. I haven't been able to determine yet what the outcome of that was, but clearly he was out and about in 1930 because he was convicted in the February 28, 1930 abortion death of a 17-year-old girl named Rena. And when I get to the end of this, I'll show you some more of my sources. So this is one of the things that drives me crazy. These guys are just habitual offenders. They just keep killing one woman after the other, after the other, after the other, and they get away with it. And I really, really want to do research to find out why. So like, share, and subscribe. I want to monetize this channel so I can finance going and reading these court documents and really delving into why one dead woman, or even just one injured woman, wasn't enough to put these guys, behind bars. Now we jump ahead to 1942, where on August 4th, 18-year-old Ava died after an abortion perpetrated by Chicago midwife Catherine Eichenberg. Eva's body was found in an attic room of Eichenberg's home. A taxi driver testified that he had taken Ava to Eichenberg's house 3 times in the week prior to her death. She was accompanied by a sailor on those trips. The sailor testified that he had paid Eichenberg $50 for the abortion. Eichenberg was convicted of murder by abortion and sentenced to 14 years in prison. Now, we're going to jump ahead half a century to a really, really sad case in Florida. Now, here it wasn't directly the abortion that killed her, but on August 4th of 2006, a 30-year-old Plantation, Florida policewoman shot her boyfriend dead and then herself inside his home. Neighbors reported that she had been hysterical the last day of her life, standing outside the man's garage, screaming, "Why is everyone blaming this on me? He killed my baby." The argument got so loud the neighbors called the police. They came, they told her to leave, she left, she came back. At that point, the boyfriend had called a friend over to talk to him about this. And the friend was telling the boyfriend that he should get a restraining order against Laura. And Laura came pounding on the door and came in and shot the boyfriend and then herself. The friend of the boyfriend said that the boyfriend had been extremely upset about the abortion, didn't believe in that, but they felt it was the right thing to do for whatever reason. So evidently, it did not go down well with her. And suicide after abortion is not as rare as the abortion lobby wants you to believe. In fact, one of the first legal abortion deaths cited by the Centers for Disease Control in their 1971 abortion surveillance summary was of a young woman that, of course, they don't identify her by name, but we call her Sandra, who expressed remorse and killed herself after her abortion. And her death was particularly needless because a review of her records at the clinic showed that she hadn't actually been pregnant. They did the abortion and they found there hadn't been a fetus there. But nobody at the clinic bothered to contact her and tell her that. Now, if I had the cemetery of choice up and running, I would link to other post-abortion suicides. That's going to be coming in the future. So here's an article about the murder-suicide in Florida. And then here's some sources. This is the 1924 death of Lorraine. And then the 1942 death of Ava. So that's what I have for you today.